Hello, folks, and welcome to the 2020 People's Presidential Choice Ceremony, where undecided voters reveal their Election Day leanings. Up first, we have a young but seasoned voter by the name of Nick Fortino. With 3 elections already under his belt, this kid knows his way around the voting booth. With an unblemished tax record, no criminal history, his decision will be eagerly awaited.
Thank you for being here. I've thought long and hard about who deserves my vote for president, and I'm about to reveal that decision.
This seemingly simple hat decision may decide the fate of a nation. Just when you think you've seen it all before, it looks as if Fortino has cleared the table entirely. The crowd is in an absolute frenzy. I'm not quite sure what to make of this. It seems as if Fortino is removing an article of clothing. Let's get down to the floor and get an explanation for this.
First, I need to vent, because I think we missed out on the candidate who had the particular combination of intelligences and qualities to lead us as our president, and that was Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is a logical genius, and we need a logical genius as our president during this time. And what I find to be ironic is the fact that logical intelligence is the most celebrated intelligence of all 9 in the multiple intelligences theory, and yet we have a leader who is really underdeveloped in his logical intelligence.
I don't think they like me very much.
Logical intelligence is the ability to think critically, to develop an argument that is based on valid key points that do not contradict each other and that really do lead to that conclusion. We see the essence of logic, which is its systematic nature, in mathematics, in engineering, in computer science, in the use of the scientific method, right? The way we ask a question or state a hypothesis and then design a study method particularly capable of answering that question or testing that hypothesis, and then collecting some form of valid data in a careful way, and then analyzing those data, and then drawing conclusions that are strictly based on the data and totally detached from our emotional bias about how we want the study to go, and then presenting those results to the public with objectivity. That is one big logical process. This is why science preserves truth. In the study of logic, there is what we call logical fallacies. And 2 of the most common logical fallacies are the ad hominem, which is when you attack the character of the person instead of the content of their argument.
But President Trump says Russian interference is a hoax.
He's an idiot on terms of saying that. Everybody knows this.
And the straw man fallacy, which is when you misrepresent someone's argument and then try to counter your misrepresentation of their argument instead of directly countering their argument.
We're having a lot of problems with Democrats. They don't want to vote for anything. They don't care about lack of security. They really would like to have open borders where anybody in the world can just flow in, including from the Middle East, from anybody, anywhere. They can just flow into
the golden rule of debate and of any kind of argument should be that each person understands the other. But presidential debates have just gotten so far from that.
Because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit
No, you're
that the
the puppet.
Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States.
Logical intelligence is what we use to solve problems. It's well known in psychology that the ability to problem center is a mark of maturity. To really focus on exactly what the problem is enables us to find solutions, and very efficiently. And in my assessment, Andrew Yang really did propose the best solutions to our problems.
I'm not a politician, I'm a problem solver. I spent the last number of years helping to create thousands of American jobs.
Do you all remember the first time you heard about me in the campaign? How there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month? Where the first time you heard it, you were like, ha ha, that's a gimmick, that'll never happen. But if you dig into it, you will find this is not an Andrew Yang idea. This is a Thomas Paine idea. This is a Martin Luther King idea. This is an Elon Musk idea.
The proposal to implement a freedom dividend where every American adult gets $1,000 a month if they want to opt into that program is logically sound. Andrew Yang thought through this thoroughly, as evidenced by the many long-form conversations he had and by the book he wrote in which he explains why this is necessary because of the present problems and because of the problems that we can foresee in our near future. Problems including the fact that artificial intelligence is supplanting people for many different jobs.
One thing I'm saying to people is like, look, it's not immigrants that are taking these jobs away. It is the fact that technology is pushing our economy in a direction that makes it harder and harder for many Americans to get by based upon this current I trade my time for money model.
That there are many people who are doing some of the most valuable work in our country, for example, raising children, that the capitalist market that we have values at zero. They get no money, even considering what we understand well in psychology, that if you meet people's basic needs, it's not that their motivation is dampened by that. Rather, their motivation shifts to higher level needs, which will ultimately result in a more well-rounded, highly educated person who contributes more to society. But when people are forced to have to meet survival-based needs on a daily basis, who have no sense of security around their future, they don't give back much because they are having to focus on survival. And it's just sickening that people who have no idea what it's like to be in poverty are making the decisions that keep people in poverty. Andrew Yang, he gets it.
It's difficult to do if you have companies like Amazon, trillion-dollar tech companies paying literally zero in taxes while they're closing 30% of our stores. Now, we need to put the American people in position to benefit from all these innovations in other parts of the economy.
So his reasoning for why we need this is sound. The premises that have led to that conclusion are valid. And his logic for how we can pay for it is sound.
If we had a value-added tax at even half the European level, it would generate over $800 billion in new revenue, which combined with the money in our hands, it would be the trickle-up economy from our people, families, and communities up. We would spend the money and it would circulate through our regional economies and neighborhoods.
And here's the kicker for me, thinking about it psychologically. The degree to which the wealthy people, whose wealth would basically just be growing at a slightly slower rate, the degree to which they would feel that difference is extremely insignificant compared to the degree to which people in poverty would feel the difference of $1,000 a month. Whether they're in poverty or middle class folk who get $1,000 a month, this would be dramatically life altering. It would free them to be able to focus on higher level needs, to be able to invest into themselves. These differences are dramatic in the common person's life. So it's a very sound argument leading to his conclusion that this would help solve what Martin Luther King described as one of the three main evils in society, along with racism and war. It's poverty. And this is the most direct solution to poverty. And it's based on totally sound arguments. Now more than ever, we need a president who is non-divisive, who is articulate, diplomatic, systematic, calculated, who is peaking cognitively, who is a logical genius. And in my humble assessment, neither of our two main choices meet all of those qualifications. And I think many people share my feeling of like, really? Is this really who we're choosing between? These two in particular, who are both showing signs of cognitive decline?
Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think, huh?
Who both seem to be incapable of holding a long-form, complex, logical conversation that directly addresses our problems.
You know, there are those that say, you can test too much. You do know that.
Who says that?
Oh, just read the manuals, read the books.
Manuals?
Read the
What
books.
manuals?
Read the books.
What books?
What testing does.
No, I'm
is
sorry.
Wait a minute. Let me-
Currently, recording this video a couple months before the election, Biden has the edge for me. And his decision to run aside Kamala Harris gives him an even bigger edge. But I'll be very reluctant to vote for him. He was one of my last choices of all the Democratic candidates. And if I vote for Biden and you don't, let's not let that disconnect us. Let's stay connected. Let's stay in conversation. Let's continue understanding each other. Let's overcome the great downfall of humanity, which is the us versus them mentality, which our political atmosphere totally exacerbates. Let's drop these pretty ridiculous ideas of like the blue team and the red team. If we are divided, we will definitely be conquered by whoever wants to have power over us. But if we are united, we'll prosper. Let's be logical.
Well, there you have it, folks. Looks like a classic case of being forced to choose between the lesser of two evils. Nick will be casting his vote begrudgingly this year, but never fear. Rumor has it that Nick and fellow logical intelligence advocates Dave Chappelle and Elon Musk are already working on the Yang 2024 campaign.
Thank you for your support. For me and for Yang. Yes, indeed. All right, we'll take it.
If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe.